But given that most people don't vote, at least what they do is they volunteer. And I'm going to say it again. Charitable endeavour is so much more than the work that you do. It's so much more than the hospice or the homeless shelter or the bus. The fact that charities, particularly local charities and voluntary community groups, exist encourages people to volunteer. And it is through volunteering, through local people in their local areas, getting off their backsides and focusing on the responsibilities to give rather than to receive, that's going to change society. And on a more macro level, your efforts don't just help the beneficiaries of your charity, they help to re-engage us as citizens in taking, I've got to stop saying that word, they re-engage our citizens in taking responsibility for society, for our society. We need to encourage our citizens to think firstly about what they can give rather than what they can get, so that we can start to create this virtuous cycle. And that's what I think charities on a local level do. At the Directorate of Social Change, we believe fundamentally that an independent voluntary sector at the heart of social change is critical in helping our disparate and increasingly disconnected society to reconnect. And I think that independence lies fundamentally at the heart of people's altruism. We need to protect that and honour that altruism. I'm not just talking about very, very rich people who can easily afford to give loads of money. I'm talking about those people who give of their time and their passion and their commitment and their opinions. And even if their opinions don't always reflect ours, we should respect people who have got the guts to stand up and say the things that they believe in. Voluntary bodies and charities exist largely because individuals or groups of individuals identify the system failures and step in to pick up the pieces and try and get the individual or the cause back into the system. So young people back into work, clean canals, animal law reform and so forth. And those system failures that for the state are social issues, or for the private sector are commercial opportunities, for us in the voluntary sector, we have a different name for those system failures. They're called Grace, Kyle, Mehmet, Louis, Darren, Louise, Angela, and so on. I was with the chief executive of a very, very large charity, I'm not going to name him now, who said to me, Deborah, there's no such thing as charity. I swear to God, shades of Margaret Thatcher in the 80s. He said, all charity is a legal construct. And I said to him, rubbish! Charity's like love. Faith, hope, charity. Charity is not a legal construct. Charity is wired into our psyche as human beings. And as soon as we start using the word charity as a euphemism for, commercialization or using, getting trapped into those terms, calling beneficiaries consumers of services, yuck. Or, talking about social return on investment, I still don't really understand what that means. I think, either we give money to help people or we don't. What is all this stuff, anyway? So I think charity serves a purpose way beyond what most policymakers understand. You are helping in the work that you do to build a better society, and particularly in the local groups. This is why I come here to places like this, to big drafty sports hall instead of really posh venues, although it's a lovely, lovely venue. Sorry, I love it, and I much prefer it to the Royal Society of Medicine, with its sort of terribly expensive buns and things like that. That's why I come here, because you're the guys who make the difference. I'm not knocking big charities, many of them do very, very good work, but I think government's missing the point when they, by not recognising that it's the myriad of thousands of hundreds of small local groups that garners enough of the tipping point to change the world. I think it's part of our job to act as role models. We are special in the voluntary sector, not because we're inherently better people. I mean, if I'm absolutely honest, some of the most backstabbing, self-aggrandizing, ruthless people I've ever met in the voluntary sector. But we are special because our legal structures and our governance and our values and ethics and principles actually, they're not so much force us, but require us to work in a certain way and to always hang on to the purpose of our being, because we fundamentally exist to serve the public, and in particular those citizens in need. Imagine a society where people didn't think in terms of their rights, but thought solely in terms of their responsibilities. Imagine a society where people saw a problem in their community and decided to get together to find a way to fix it. Imagine a society of people who thought in terms of giving and not getting, of caring and not being cared for, of sharing and not demanding our cut. Wouldn't that be fabulous? And you know what? That's what you do. That's the society that you are creating. We are so lucky to do the work we do. I know it's knackering. I know it's tiring, I know we get endless blooming paperwork and having to prove this, that and the other, but you know what? We can go home every single day and be incredibly proud. We don't need to hang our heads in shame as we mumble that my job is to kill turkeys at Christmas, or to gamble with other people's money so I can get a huge big bonus in my bank pocket, or encourage people to get into debt by spending more on their credit card, or earn vast amounts of money for kicking football around the pitch, although I'm not sure Bristol players do they? I don't know.
Well enough.
Oh, sorry. We can stand absolutely proud. We can say that the work that we do is blooming hard. The environment is difficult. We don't have fancy chairs and posh desks. We are often subject to central and local authority whims and wheezes. We've never got enough resources, and there is always more to do than we can handle. But we can hold our heads up high because the work we do really matters. It changes people's lives and it does make society better. I can't describe better than George Bernard Shaw what I think the voluntary sector is about. He wrote this in his preface to Man and Superman. And this for me is the thing that just makes me remember why I'm here working in the voluntary sector. And he said, "This is the true joy in life. This is the true joy in life. The being used for a purpose recognised by yourself as a mighty one. The being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. In fact, I want to be knackered. I want to arrive at the gates of heaven, I assume I'm getting there, with a bottle of champagne in one hand, a packet of fags in the other, saying, 'Let me in, I can do no more.'" George didn't say that, by the way, that was me. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. For the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of splendid torch that I've got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. Keep that torch burning, and thank you for listening.